So if your scalp is constantly doing weird things, and by weird things, I mean it's itching, it feels tight, it's flaky, it's irritated, it's sensitive, no matter what you put on it, your scalp barrier may be damaged. And there are specific things that you need to know to determine whether it is and what you can do about it. Honestly, I think this is something that a lot of women don't really discuss or maybe have never even heard of before, the term the scalp barrier. I always say this: we look at problems on our hair and scalp at surface levels, okay, or at the surface level. You see a flake, what do? We add oil. The scalp itches, what do? We buy another product. If the scalp feels irritated, we try another treatment. So we end up constantly putting things on the scalp without ever asking, what condition is my scalp actually in? Your scalp has a protective barrier. And when that barrier becomes damaged or stressed or inflamed or disrupted, the scalp starts reacting differently. A lot of things that we think we're doing to help the scalp may actually be making it worse. We overload the scalp with products as soon as something starts happening. We are constantly scratching, okay, digging in our scalp with different things, over cleansing, which is actually a thing, heavy buildup. That's from all of the product that we overload leads to heavy buildup. Especially if products aren't absorbing or harsh ingredients, definitely tension and stress, okay? And especially if you're a woman over the age of 40, 50, 60 and up, this conversation becomes even more important. And why is that? Because changes happening inside the body can absolutely start affecting the scalp environment too. Because we talk about this all the time, that your hair is not separate from the body. That goes for the scalp too. In this video, I want to walk you through 5 signs that your scalp barrier may be damaged and why it goes much deeper than just finding another product to throw on your head. Before we get into the 5 signs, I wanted to introduce myself. If you're new here, my name is Kendra. I'm the founder of 180 Hair, and I help women understand their hair by first understanding their body. Because once you understand that your hair and body are connected, you know what your body is telling you and you know how to respond accordingly. Okay, so this is not teenage hair advice. This is not influencer hair advice. This is not try this oil and pray advice. This is grown woman hair care. This is hair care for women whose bodies, hormones, stress levels, priorities, and identities have changed. All of those changes affect our hair health. So you'll hear me use the term scalp barrier. Let's talk briefly about what that is. Your scalp has a natural protective layer. Okay, it's designed to keep your scalp balanced, your scalp protected, and functioning properly. Think about it like a shield. Okay, a healthy scalp barrier helps to hold in moisture. It helps to protect against irritation. It helps to regulate your oil production. That's the sebum or the natural oil that your scalp produces. It helps to support healthy follicles and helps to defend against bacteria buildup and environmental stress. Okay, so it serves a purpose. When that barrier is healthy, the scalp is calm. You put products on it, it's balanced, it's less reactive. But when the barrier becomes damaged or disrupted, then you start dealing with things like an overactive scalp, or the scalp is overreacting to everything that you put on it. Okay, so an easy way to think about that is it's like the protective barrier on your skin, because remember, the scalp is skin. If your skin is healthy, the skin on your face, the skin on your arms, doesn't matter. If that skin is healthy, it can tolerate and hold products better. Okay, it holds moisture better. It is calmer. You can use your products. You see that they absorb things, that you put on it. But when that barrier is compromised, of course, you get the opposite effect. Everything irritates it, right? The scalp is very similar because the scalp is skin. This is important, okay? If you're trying to treat scalp conditions without first realizing that the scalp environment may already be stressed. The reason we're even talking about scalp health in the first place is because many times we are super, super, super concerned with growth. Healthy growth is almost impossible if you have a compromised scalp, if your scalp health is compromised, because you can't have a hair growth conversation without having a scalp health conversation as well. If your scalp environment is stressed long enough, eventually trying to grow your hair will become affected too, and pretty much impossible. So let's get into the signs. Sign number 1 that your scalp barrier may be damaged is your scalp feels tight. A tight feeling scalp is like it feels dry. You know how like when your skin is dry, you have this tight feeling, okay? That's what I mean when your scalp feels tight. It's like the skin of the scalp is tight. You get this tightness or this tenderness or this soreness. And many times I've noticed women experience this and they don't realize that it's not normal, because we associate tightness with dryness and dryness with, oh, I need to put an oil on it. If you are experiencing this, this is probably what it feels like. Your scalp feels sore when you touch it. Maybe certain areas are suddenly uncomfortable, okay, because this doesn't have to be all over. This can just be in certain areas that you experience tightness, especially if you're experiencing it after you wash your hair and scalp. Maybe even when you comb or style your hair, it hurts, all right? So those are signs that your scalp may be stressed. But what's happening, the surface level part of that is that your scalp barrier, again, we talked about scalp barrier, has become disrupted, okay? The scalp loses moisture, irritation increases, and now the scalp is more sensitive and reactive. In a nutshell, that's what's happening. So instead of the scalp feeling balanced and comfortable, it starts feeling inflamed, tight, itchy, tender, dry, all the things. Okay, external things that can contribute to this are overwashing, okay, with harsh shampoos, scratching the scalp excessively. I spoke about this in the beginning. Tight styles and tension, irritating ingredients, heavy buildup, constantly switching products. We have to stop looking at the hair and scalp as just hair separate, scalp separate, body separate, okay? Because the scalp is skin, and skin is living tissue. Sometimes a tight scalp or a tender scalp is also connected to things happening deep inside the body. What do I mean? Chronic stress, poor circulation, dehydration, inflammation, constant tension being held in the body. So I talked about tension on the scalp from tight hairstyles. You can have tension in your body from stress. That also can affect your hair growth cycle, your hair health, the health of your scalp, okay? A stressed body can absolutely contribute to the stress of your scalp. And this is one of the reasons we apply more and more products but still don't feel relief, because the scalp may be reacting to external things that we're doing and internal things that are going on at the same time. So what do we do? Okay, what do we do about this? If your scalp is constantly feeling these symptoms of tightness, itching, tenderness, the goal is to calm the scalp barrier. This is going to sound very simple, but if you are overstimulating your scalp, meaning you're doing a lot to it, using a lot of products, using a lot of different products, the first thing you have to do is simplify your routine for a while, because products have so many ingredients and chemicals, and there could be something that you're specifically irritated by or allergic to. And the only way to know that is by reducing the products that you use. If you're using multiple shampoos, maybe just switch to one, the most gentle one that you have. Excessive scratching, okay? We have to cut down on that. Heavy products, if you're using products and they're really thick and oily and heavy, you have to cut back on those if you're dealing with this type of scalp irritation. Even if you think those thick, oily, heavy products are helping. Reduce the tight tension styles. Of course, that should go without saying. Focus on gentle cleansing, lots of hydration. All right. It's easy for me to say lower your stress when possible, but we live in a stress-induced world. So unless you have your own personal way of dealing with your stress, it's easier said than done. Supporting circulation through things like movement. Moving the body is great for circulation throughout the body, specifically getting nutrients to the scalp. Scalp massages are great. Proper water intake. Sometimes your scalp just doesn't need more stuff. It needs recovery. So think about that. That's sign number one, that your scalp barrier may be damaged. Sign number two that your scalp barrier may be damaged is constant itching or burning. Constant itching or burning. Now, or sensitivity. Okay, this could be itching, burning, or sensitivity. And I'm not talking about the occasional itch here and there. Okay, your skin is going to itch. All right, you're going to have itching here and there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the kind where the scalp is just irritated and you can tell. Products sting. Certain oils that you use, they burn. Okay, that's not normal, especially things that have essential oils in them. Fragrances become too strong. Your scalp feels reactive all the time. It's red. It's just irritated. Once the scalp barrier becomes compromised, it's hypersensitive. Okay, and external things can trigger this. We talked about the same stuff can trigger this as well. The ingredients, the over scratching, the buildup, the heavy oils and heavy products. Okay, overuse of certain things. And the deeper part of this is inflammatory foods. So these are things that on the inside, or things that we do outside of taking care of our hair or using products, that can cause this itching and burning. Inflammatory foods, chronic stress, stress hormones, immune system reactions, histamine responses, nervous system dysregulation. All of these things affect inflammation which can affect sensitivity levels in the body. All right, including the scalp. You may feel like I just can't tolerate anything anymore. I don't even know what to use. We hear that a lot. I don't know what to use on my hair anymore. Everything, if it's not working, it's irritating, right? Because the scalp is not always just reacting to what you put on it. Sometimes it's reacting to what the body is experiencing as well. That's why my goal with this channel is to help you understand your hair by understanding your body. So what can you do with this itching and burning and all of the things, okay? If your scalp burns and itches and it feels overly reactive to products, we want to do a similar thing that we did on the first sign. We need to reduce, especially if you're using a lot of different things. You need to read or do some research on your product labels. First 5 ingredients. Get you a pen and a piece of paper. If you're old school like me, I am a pen to paper. I got pens and papers and journals and books, notebooks, sticky notes everywhere because I'm always writing things down. Get you a pen and paper, your favorite products that you use every day. Write those ingredients down or screenshot it. You even have AI. If you use AI at all, screenshot it. Ask AI to tell you if there's anything in that ingredient list that could be triggering irritation and inflammation in the scalp. Just gave you the game. Screenshot it, ask AI. You have to understand the ingredients that you're using and how they are affecting your scalp. Anything that's heavily fragranced or irritating ingredients, you can do your search to look that up. Give your scalp a break from constant experimenting. That's the trying products over and over again. Because remember, the hair and the scalp take time to respond, and they're always behind. Your scalp is not on the same, doesn't react at the same pace of the products that you use most times, okay? So if you go from one product to the next, to the next, to the next, out of those 4 products, you don't know what's causing the irritation, okay? So just remember that. Pay attention to the foods that you're eating, the amount of hydration that you're getting every day, your overall nervous system health. How are you regulating your stress levels? Okay, that's going to be important. The goal is not to force the scalp to tolerate more. It's just understanding why it's reacting. To understand why it's reacting, you will have to do a little bit of research. Influencers and people online, there's thousands. There's thousands of them. All 1,000 of them can give you 1,000 different solutions. Okay, if you out here trying to try all 1,000 solutions, you are going to be in a never-ending loop of the product chasing cycle, the buy, try, fail, repeat. Okay, it's better for you to just slow down, stick with one product, see how your hair and scalp are responding, make note of the ingredients that's in it, and then go from there. Because you might find that for your hair and scalp specifically, it loves certain ingredients, it hates certain ingredients. Let's look at sign number 3, that your scalp barrier may be damaged. Flakes that keep coming back no matter what you use. Flakes, good old flakes. All flakes do not automatically mean your scalp is dry. Flakes do not automatically. Sometimes flakes, if they're those greasy, thick flakes, that's an overproduction of oil. That is not hair or the scalp that needs more oil. Again, we see flakes, we start adding oil, but the issue is deeper than a lack of oil many times. Because when the scalp barrier is disrupted, that environment becomes imbalanced. The imbalance can speed up skin turnover. So that flakes are just skin stacking on top of each other at a much quicker rate than normal. Okay. That imbalance can increase inflammation, disrupt the scalp microbiome, and create irritation that keeps repeating itself. So now the scalp is shedding excessively. The skin of the scalp is shedding excessively, flaking or reacting over and over again. Okay. Don't always assume that flakes mean dryness. Okay. Don't always assume that flakes mean dryness, because they could be connected to buildup sitting on the scalp, harsh ingredients, over oiling, fungal imbalance. Okay. Fungal imbalance is tied to sugar, overconsumption of sugar. Okay. Chronic irritation, barrier disruption. And then we talk about the internal cause of the flaking and all of that. And it can be tied to gut imbalance. Okay. Nutritional deficiencies, dehydration, You know, I talk about nutrition being extremely important when it comes to your hair health. Nutrition is not just food, it's nourishment. It's food, it's supplements, it's vitamins, minerals, it's hydration, how much water you're drinking, how much water you're absorbing at the cellular level, okay? And circulation, how you're moving your body. All of those for me fall under nutrition. Nutrients, hydration, circulation. If you are dealing with hair issues and your only solution is let me find a product, and you're a woman over 40, over 50, and you are dealing with, I'm not going to say medical issues, but you're dealing with all the things that comes with being a woman over those ages, and all you're doing is buying products, you are going to be disappointed a lot. Okay. I know this is a mindset shift that many people are not teaching online. Many people are just saying, hey, here's what you use. Here's what worked for me. Try this. And I'm not saying those methods aren't working, because for some people they are. But for most, they are keeping them frustrated because, one, we're not using them long enough to really see how they're helping or not. And by the time we switch to something else, your hair and scalp are still reacting from the last product. All right. So we don't give enough time in between the results from one product to the next. And we don't really understand why we're using specific products or specific ingredients, even if it's all natural. I don't care if it's all natural. Even if something is all natural, you should know how it's affecting, what the properties are, what is it supposed to be doing for your hair and scalp. Like, just because the product is natural don't mean it's going to work for you. You can be allergic to anything. You can have an adverse reaction to anything, natural or not. Natural is going to be healthier and a healthier option, but it doesn't automatically put you in the option of this has got to work because it's natural. It doesn't work like that. Okay. All right. So sign number 4. Sign number 4 that your scalp barrier is damaged is your scalp gets oily too fast. So we talked about flakes and how when we see flakes, we assume that's dryness. Okay. We can get flakes on the oily side too. We think that oil equals moisture. All right. But an oily scalp does not always mean healthy, balanced, moisturized scalp. Okay. It can mean the scalp is overcompensating because your scalp naturally produces an oil called sebum. Okay. So when your scalp barrier becomes compromised, stripped, that's from those harsh ingredients and all the things, you can strip your scalp. It becomes disrupted and produces more oil as a way of trying to protect itself. Okay. It's almost like your scalp going into panic mode. The barrier gets weak. The moisture starts to escape. The irritation increases. And now the scalp starts overproducing oil to create protection. Okay. So we get trapped in this cycle. It's another cycle. We overwash. Oh, my scalp is oily. I must need to wash it. We use products that are stripping. We start using these too much clarifying products because we think we need to wash the oil away. We start to dry the scalp out. All right. And then the scalp is producing even more oil. Okay. So we wash it more. We wash it harder. The cycle keeps repeating itself. So external products and routines can contribute to this, but also things internally, the hormonal shifts can completely change how the scalp behaves. Okay. Internal shifts, what are those? If you are a woman, you know, perimenopause, menopause, cortisol, and chronic stress, hormonal fluctuations, blood sugar imbalances, nervous system stress. I've said this before, there's only so many ways that your scalp can wave a red flag and tell you something's wrong. Okay. Lastly, sign number 5, your scalp barrier is damaged, is your products suddenly stop working. Okay. 5th sign your scalp barrier is damaged is that your product stop working. None of the products work anymore. All right. This is the one that probably hits us emotionally the most because you've had products that you've loved for years. Okay. Routines that you have or had used to work perfectly. Your hair used to respond differently. And now suddenly you have a scalp that's more reactive. Your hair stays dry no matter what you put on it. Products just sit on top. You can't get your porosity down. You think you got your porosity, but it's just not working. What you're using for your hair, the things that you're using don't feel consistent. Your scalp feels irritated no matter what you try. And this is where we have to understand something important. A compromised scalp environment affects everything. Okay. Product absorption, how well products absorb into your hair and scalp. Moisture retention, this is your porosity, how well your hair absorbs and retains water. Scalp sensitivity, the health of your follicles. I hadn't even touched on follicle health. That's a whole other video, okay? And the overall behavior of your hair. So the issue may not be that every single product is failing you. It's just the environment underneath has changed. It's not that the products, it is sometimes that the products change because we know formulations change, but the body changes too. The body that you had 5 years ago is probably not the body you have today. Things slow down. Circulation gets slower. Hormones start shifting. Stress starts building. Inflammation builds. You are not eating as healthy as you should. Your lifestyle has changed. Menopause, okay? All of these things can influence the environment of the hair and scalp and the way the hair behaves, all right? So, again, it may be that the product changed. It very well could be. But your internal environment has definitely changed. Okay? That's why I say you cannot fully understand your hair without understanding your body, because the body is connected to the hair. It's not separate. Your hair does not exist in isolation. So what do we do? What do we do next? I think I've said this or given this solution in all of the symptoms and all of the 5 symptoms, but this will apply to all of them. You know, whatever you're experiencing, you want to make sure you're simplifying your routine temporarily. I bet if I went into 10 households and looked in 10 bathroom cabinets, or wherever you keep your products, I bet there's probably at least 10 different products, okay? Or more. I'm being generous by saying 10. It's probably more, right? So we have to simplify our routine temporarily. Again, look at your ingredient list. Top 5 ingredients are going to be the most important because those are what makes up the majority of the formulation. And if you understand those first 5 ingredients, I don't care how long the name is, how much you can't pronounce it, everything is not going to be a simple pronunciation. That's why you have Google, ChatGPT, or AI. Take a picture of it. Ask those tools to tell you what are those first 5 ingredients. What are they doing for your hair and scalp? Ask the question. We are in the age of information. There is no reason that we should not have a basic understanding of the products that we're using and how they are helping your hair and scalp. Forget the front label. Don't take a picture of the front label. It's the ingredient label that's important. And that's what I teach. We walk into these stores. It is the job. Companies have marketing departments for a reason. They market to you. They make the bottle pretty. They make the label beautiful colors. They use words that entice you emotionally. All right. They make you think that the products that they sell are going to solve your problem. They don't want you to be an educated consumer. They don't want you to flip the bottle over and try to read the ingredients. That's why the ingredients is written so small on the back. You can't hardly see it. You got to take your reading glasses in the store with you because you don't even know. You can't even see it. But everything on the front is big and bold. Tell me I'm lying. Okay? So, forget the front label. Know what is in the stuff you're using. Even if the front label says argan oil and all of the beautiful oils and butters and shea butter and manoi oil and cocoa butter, coconut oil, peptides, panthen, like all. Girl, flip that thing over and see what the first 5 ingredients are. If the first 5 ingredient is a fragrance, put it back. You do not need that much fragrance. Anywho, what else can you do? I talked about simplifying your routine, reducing harsh ingredients and fragrance. You won't know how to reduce a harsh ingredient or fragrance if you're not reading your product labels. Okay? Avoid over scratching. Avoid overly scratching your hair. Sticking pencils and pens and rat tail combs and toothpicks. You are just making micro tears in your scalp. Tearing your scalp apart. Stop doing that. Okay? 1 or 2 times is fine. I'm not saying don't ever scratch your scalp, child. 1 or 2 times is fine. But if you are finding yourself every time you turn around, you got to scratch, there is something else. Okay? Clarify builds up gently. So if you know that you use a lot of stuff, you're not clarifying at least once a month, you should do that. But a gentle clarifying treatment. Okay? Hydrate internally. Internal hydration is also going to be good for scalp health. All right. Moving your body, circulation, moving your body, circulation, moving your body, circulation. Okay. Don't tell me that you using products and you sitting on the couch all day. I can't, I don't have, unless you have a medical condition that prevents you from getting up and moving. I, you can't tell me, you better not tell me that you're not moving. It doesn't make sense. There's no excuse. I'm gonna get off of that. Moving your body, circulation. Okay. Reduce excess tension style. So anything that's too tight, you shouldn't be wearing tight hairstyles. That contributes to the scalp problem. Okay. Focus on scalp recovery, not overload. Focus on scalp recovery, not overload. Your scalp doesn't always need more stimulation. Stop letting people tell you stimulate your scalp, massage your scalp. If your scalp barrier is disrupted or damaged, you don't need to stimulate the hell out of your scalp. You don't need to do all that massaging and digging. You don't need to do that. It's not helping. Okay? Stop letting the internet tell you to overly massage your scalp. And if you do massage it, gentle massages with the pads of your fingers, not the tips, not your long fingernails, not your nails, the pads of your fingers. Gentle massages. You don't even need to buy anything. But if you have one of those fancy little tools, use those. But I prefer, if your scalp is irritated, just use the pads of your fingers. Those are your scalp massaging tools. A little bit of oil, massage. Okay. If you're dealing with scalp irritation, tightness, flakes, burning, excessive oiliness, or products suddenly not working anymore. It sounds like a commercial, don't it? The goal is not to panic immediately. The goal is not to panic and overload your scalp with more stuff. I get it. My scalp is itching. I need to put something on it. You go to the store, you get dandruff shampoo, or you get, sulfur 8. I know about sulfur 8, child. I know about sulfur 8. Listen, the healthiest thing you can do, again, is to simplify. So if you tell me, Kendra, I'm not using a lot of stuff, I just have this irritation in my scalp and nothing is helping, that might need a trip to a dermatologist or to see a trichologist, because they may have to get a microscope and look at your scalp deeply. Okay. It may be a type of dermatitis or something else that needs like a medical treatment. All right. But if you are someone that uses a lot of stuff and you switch products a lot, that will definitely lead to your scalp barrier being damaged. I don't know what else to tell you. Excess scratching. All right. If you have irritation and you know that you have buildup, gently remove your buildup. You can do things in between wash day because I know that wash day for many of us is a chore. Okay. I'll give you grace for that. Wash day for many of us is a chore. But a warm towel, put a little apple cider vinegar on it or a little lemon juice, dab your scalp. That will restore the pH of your scalp, restore the pH balance of your scalp, and it will lightly cleanse. Aloe vera is good, especially if it's very irritated. You can make a DIY aloe vera mist. Aloe vera juice, a little bit of water. Okay. Support hydration internally. That's not just drinking water, but making sure that your body is absorbing. You can do your research on that. Drinking water with a little bit of sea salt in it helps. So do your research on that, because I don't want to start telling y'all to do things. I'm like, how much salt? Well, I can't have I can't have salt. Look, do your research. How to make sure I'm absorbing water effectively. Okay. If you are a woman over the age of 40, I keep saying over 40 because I'm closer to the back end of 40. So after a while, I ain't gonna be saying 40. I'll move on to 50. Move on to my 50 sisters, right? So if you are a woman over the age of 40, 50, 60 and up, and your hair routine is only built around the next product you put on it, okay, and you're not asking what may be happening inside, then yes, you will be stuck in the product chasing cycle. That's the buy, try, fail, repeat. I've coined that term, product chasing cycle. So you buy something, you try it, it doesn't work because you're not giving enough time, so you think it fails, and then you repeat the cycle over again by buying something else. Because sometimes the issue is not just what you're putting on it externally. It's your body asking for attention too. Your body needs attention because it's your body. Your body needs attention because it's your body. Don't think of I need to do something or drink more water for my hair. No, you need to drink more water because the body is what holds the hair in the first place. Take care of your body because it's the body that you have to walk around in. Okay? Now, this is one of the reasons I created my system, Hair Rehab. Hair Rehab is a system that I created that focuses on 5 specific areas of the hair and scalp for health. Okay. Within Hair Rehab, you take an assessment and then you figure out what area you need to focus in first. All right. And this helps you to stop chasing products. Okay. And help you understand that your scalp, your hair, your habits, your body, and your routine all need attention in the right order. Okay. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start understanding what your hair and scalp may actually be responding to, I will leave the link to Hair Rehab below. So if you are a first time viewer, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to hit the like button on your way out, or if you have made it this far, I appreciate you. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. I would love to have you over here on my channel. And remember, as always, understanding your hair is not a luxury, it's your power. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.